Okay, so get this. Elon Musk's xAI just raised a massive $6 billion in its latest funding round.
6 billion.
Yeah,
Wow.
that brings their total to a staggering $12 billion.
It's incredible.
We're diving deep into what this means for the AI landscape, especially with those big players like OpenAI already in the mix.
Yeah, OpenAI is a big one.
Huge.
I think what's interesting here is the sheer speed of xAI's growth.
Absolutely.
Their valuation has doubled in just 6 months.
Just 6 months.
Yeah, and this latest round, it pulled in some really big names.
Huge name.
Like Andreessen Horowitz,
Oh, yeah.
BlackRock, and even NVIDIA.
Oh, wow.
This really puts them on the map.
They're not playing around.
No, they're not.
And there's a detail about the investors that I found pretty curious.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
Only those who are already on board could get in on this round.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so some who backed Musk's Twitter takeover reportedly ended up with as much as 25% of xAI shares.
That's interesting.
It makes you wonder what kind of strategic alliances are forming behind the scenes.
It does raise questions about the connections and potential synergies between all these ventures.
All these different companies.
Yeah, it seems like Musk is weaving a very complex web
Oh, he is.
of interconnected companies with AI at the core of it all.
At the very center of this web is their flagship AI, Grok.
Ah, yes, Grok.
It's already powering features on X.
X, formerly Twitter, right?
Exactly. Things like that chatbot for premium subscribers.
Right.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Musk is calling Grok rebellious and truth-seeking.
Oh, really?
He's even claiming that it's less biased than the competition.
Less biased, huh?
Yeah, what do you think about that?
Well, it's a bold claim for sure.
It is.
This rebellious nature seems to be a key part of Grok's brand identity.
I think you're right.
It's designed to engage with those trickier questions.
And ones that other AIs might shy away from.
Exactly, and it definitely doesn't shy away from using some colorful language.
It's definitely not your average AI assistant.
Not at all.
But there's substance behind all the shock value. Grok can generate images. It can summarize news articles.
Wow.
And there are even whispers that it will be handling even more X functions in the future.
More X functions.
Yeah, like imagine if
But
you
like,
get to...
that suggests that xAI is aiming to deeply integrate Grok into X.
It's a bold move.
It is, especially when you consider the competition they're up against.
Which brings us to the big elephant in the room, the competition.
Yeah.
Things are getting pretty heated between xAI and OpenAI, the folks behind ChatGPT.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Musk actually filed a lawsuit against them, alleging they're trying to stifle competition and unfairly profiting from work that he was involved with early on.
I did see that.
Yeah.
That legal battle between Musk and OpenAI is definitely adding another layer of intrigue to this whole story.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it really underscores just how high the stakes are in the race for AI dominance.
Couldn't have said it better myself, and let's not forget the history here.
The history is important.
Musk co-founded OpenAI, but he left in 2018 after some disagreements.
Yeah.
Now he's accusing them of straying from their original nonprofit mission.
Wow. Talk about a plot twist.
It really is, and this whole backstory adds a very personal dimension to this conflict.
Oh, it does.
You know, it speaks to those complexities of vision and control when you're dealing with a technology as transformative as AI.
You're absolutely right. It's not just about the technology itself.
It's about the people behind it.
Exactly.
So where does all of this leave xAI?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
It is.
Where do they go from here?
Well, Musk has a pretty grand vision.
Okay, I'm listening.
He wants to train AI models using data from all of his companies.
All of his companies.
Tesla, SpaceX.
A whole shebang.
The whole shebang. And then use those models to make their tech even better.
Wow, that's ambitious.
It is incredibly ambitious.
The potential for synergy between all of Musk's companies is enormous.
It's mind-blowing.
Imagine an AI trained on data from Tesla's self-driving cars,
Oh, wow.
SpaceX's rockets, and all the social interactions happening on X.
It's like this melting pot of data.
The insights and applications could be truly revolutionary.
They could change the world.
They really could.
And you know what? They're already starting to put this into practice.
Oh, yeah, how so?
Grok is already being used in some of the Starlink customer support.
Interesting.
And they're even discussing R&D collaborations with Tesla in exchange for revenue sharing.
That's a fascinating model.
It is.
It suggests that xAI isn't just aiming for these huge technological breakthroughs, but they're also exploring those practical ways to monetize their AI expertise.
They want to make money,
Of course.
and they want to make an impact.
Right.
But of course, not everyone is on board with this plan.
Oh, I'm sure there are some naysayers
Some Tesla shareholders are actually suing Musk.
suing him,
Yeah, they're claiming that he's funneling resources away from Tesla to benefit xAI.
which they see as a competitor.
Exactly. It's corporate drama at its finest.
It really is. This raises a crucial question.
What's that?
Can Musk effectively balance the interests of all these very diverse companies that he runs?
While pursuing these ambitious AI goals.
It's a tough question.
It's a high wire act.
It is.
And the stakes couldn't be higher.
No, they couldn't.
What we're seeing here is xAI deliberately positioning itself as a major player in the AI landscape.
Absolutely. They're not messing
They're
around.
going all in,
They're building an entire ecosystem.
fueled by massive investments and these bold ambitions.
And it's fascinating to watch.
It is a fascinating development.
And I think it has the potential to reshape the tech landscape as we know it.
For sure, and they've got the infrastructure to back it up.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
They built a massive data center in Memphis
I heard about this.
in just 122 days.
That's insane.
It's incredible. We're talking 100,000 NVIDIA GPUs,
Wow.
the go-to chip for AI.
Yeah.
Like, get this, they're already planning to double that.
Double it.
Yeah.
That is remarkable.
To power this beast, they had to secure an additional 150 megawatts of electricity.
150 megawatts.
Yeah, that's enough to power about 100,000 homes.
Wow, that's a small city.
It is a small city, and to get that power, you want to know what they had to do.
What's that?
They struck a deal to improve Memphis's drinking water and provide them with discounted Tesla batteries.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's a pretty impressive deal, right?
And it shows that they're not just focused on raw computing power, but also considering the broader impact of their operations on the community.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it's a potential win-win situation.
It is.
And it could be a model for these large-scale AI development projects in the future.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very unique approach.
Now, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about Grok's unique capabilities.
Okay, let's do it.
What sets it apart from other AIs like ChatGPT?
Well, one key difference, as we touched on earlier, is Grok's willingness to engage with those more controversial or challenging questions.
The ones that other AIs might shy away from.
Exactly. Musk has described it as having a rebellious streak and being maximally truth-seeking.
Which has created quite a stir.
It certainly has piqued the interest of a lot of people.
Oh yeah, it's like Grok has a personality.
It does.
And it's not afraid to push boundaries, even if that means ruffling a few feathers along the way.
Right. It's not afraid to speak its mind.
But it's crucial to remember that even Grok has its limits.
Of course it does.
While it might be more willing to tackle those tough topics, it still operates within certain guidelines and safety protocols.
Right. It's not a free-for-all.
It's not just going to start spewing harmful content or inciting violence.
Right. There are still safeguards in place to ensure responsible use.
Exactly. And those safeguards are absolutely vital, especially as AI models become increasingly powerful and influential.
I agree. We need to make sure that they're aligned with our values and that they don't pose a threat to society.
So while Grok might be a bit more rebellious than some other AIs, it's still operating within ethical boundaries.
Right. It's like a teenager pushing the limits.
Oh, I like that analogy.
But ultimately knowing that there are consequences.
Right. They can't just go completely wild.
Exactly. And I think that's a great analogy because it really highlights that challenge of balancing innovation with responsibility.
Yeah, in the AI field.
Absolutely. We want to encourage creativity and exploration.
But we also need to make sure these powerful technologies are used for good.
Couldn't agree more.
Another really intriguing aspect of Grok is its integration with X, formerly Twitter.
Yeah, it's already powering those features like the chatbot for premium subscribers.
Exactly. And there are reports suggesting it might handle even more functions in the future.
Oh, wow. Like what?
Things like enhanced search post analytics,
Yeah.
even generating account bios.
Wow.
It seems like they're weaving Grok into the very fabric of X.
They are. It's a very ambitious strategy.
And this integration is a core part of xAI's strategy.
It makes sense when you think about it.
By leveraging that vast amount of data generated on X,
Oh, yeah.
they can train Grok to better understand human language and behavior.
And that could lead to some truly groundbreaking applications.
Potentially, it's like they're turning X into this massive AI laboratory.
With real-time feedback from millions of users.
It's credible.
It is. And that access to data is a huge advantage for xAI.
It gives them a leg up.
It does.
Yeah.
Musk has even stated that it gives them an edge over competitors like OpenAI.
Which is particularly interesting given his history as a co-founder of OpenAI.
Right? There's a lot of history there.
A lot of baggage.
And as we discussed earlier, even some legal battles playing out right now.
So what does this all mean for the future of Grok and xAI's position in the AI world?
Well, it's clear that they're aiming to be a major force in the industry.
They're not messing around.
No, they're not. They have the funding, the talent, and the vision to make a significant impact.
But they're also facing fierce competition from established players like OpenAI and Anthropic.
Yeah, right. And not to mention all the startups that are entering the field.
Yeah, there are tons of startups popping up every day.
It's a crowded space.
It is.
And they'll need to navigate those ethical challenges and potential controversies that come with developing these powerful AI technologies.
Especially given Musk's sometimes unconventional approach.
Right, he's not always the most predictable.
It's a high-stakes game with no clear winner yet.
I agree, it's still early days.
But one thing's for sure, xAI is shaking things up.
Oh, they are.
And they're pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI.
And it's going to be very interesting to see how this all unfolds.
It is. We're in for a wild ride.
Absolutely.
So buckle up, folks.
It's only going to get more exciting from here.
And that's a wrap for part 1 of our deep dive into xAI.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll delve even deeper into Grok's unique capabilities and xAI's ambitious plans for the future. So we left off talking about how xAI is positioning itself in the AI landscape.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to see how quickly they've emerged as a serious contender.
What's striking to me is that they seem to be taking a different approach than other major players like OpenAI and Anthropic.
Oh, how so?
Well, while those companies are focused on creating these more general purpose, AI seems to be really prioritizing real-world applications within Musk's existing companies.
Like Tesla and SpaceX.
Exactly. It's like they're not just building AI for the sake of it.
You've got a clear goal in mind.
Right. They're laser focused on using AI to solve problems and push boundaries in specific fields.
Like space travel, transportation, social media.
Exactly. And that strategy is evident in their close collaborations with companies like Tesla and SpaceX.
Oh, absolutely.
They're already using Grok to power some of the customer support for Starlink.
Starlink, that's SpaceX's satellite internet service, right?
That's the one. And they're discussing R&D partnerships with Tesla where they provide services in exchange for revenue.
So they're not just building cool tech, they're figuring out how to make money from it.
Right? It's a smart way to leverage their AI expertise and generate income.
Makes sense. But I'm sure not everyone is thrilled about this close relationship with Musk's other companies.
You're right. Some Tesla shareholders are worried that resources are being diverted away from Tesla to xAI.
Which they see as a potential competitor.
Exactly. And there have even been lawsuits filed accusing Musk of putting his own interests ahead of Tesla shareholders.
Oh, wow. So it's getting pretty messy.
It's a delicate balancing act to manage all these interconnected ventures.
And keep everyone happy.
Right. It's like a real-life corporate drama unfolding.
And we have front row seats.
We do, and it'll be fascinating to see how Musk navigates these challenges.
And if he can convince investors that his vision for xAI aligns with the best interests of all of his companies.
It's a tough sell, for sure.
Okay, so we've talked about xAI's connections to Musk's other companies, but let's zoom in on Grok for a moment.
Okay, sounds good.
What makes it stand out from other AIs like ChatGPT?
Well, one key difference, as we mentioned before, is Grok's willingness to tackle those trickier questions.
The ones other AIs try to avoid.
Exactly. You know, the ones that might be a bit controversial or sensitive.
Right.
Musk has called it rebellious and maximally truth-seeking, and that's generated a lot of attention.
Definitely got a unique personality.
It does. It's not afraid to push boundaries, even if that means using some colorful language along the way.
So it's not your typical polite AI assistant?
Not at all, but it's important to remember that even Grok has its limits.
Oh, of course.
It's not a free-for-all.
So it's not going to start spreading harmful content or inciting violence.
Exactly. There are still safeguards in place.
To make sure it's used responsibly.
Right. Those safeguards are crucial, especially as these AI models become more powerful and influential.
We want to make sure they don't turn into something we can't control.
Exactly. We need to ensure that they align with our values and don't pose a threat to society.
So while Grok might be a bit more rebellious than some other AIs, it's still operating within ethical boundaries.
Like a teenager testing the limits but knowing there are consequences.
I love that analogy.
It really highlights the challenge of balancing innovation with responsibility in the field of AI.
We want to encourage creativity, but we also need to make sure these powerful technologies are used for good.
Couldn't agree more. It's a tough balance to strike.
Okay, so we've talked about Grok's rebellious streak. But what else makes it special?
Another fascinating aspect of Grok is its integration with X, formerly Twitter.
Ah, yes, they're really baking it into the platform.
It's already powering several features on X, including that chatbot for premium subscribers,
Right, and there are reports that it might be handling even more functions in the future,
like enhancing search capabilities.
maybe helping with post-analytics or even generating account bios.
It seems like they're weaving Grok into the very essence of X.
It's a bold move.
This integration is a key part of xAI's strategy.
It makes sense, though, right?
Yeah, by leveraging that vast amount of data generated on X, they can train Grok to better understand human language and behavior.
Which could lead to some really innovative applications.
Potentially groundbreaking stuff.
It's like they're turning X into this giant AI laboratory.
With real-time feedback from millions of users.
It's incredible to think about the potential there.
It is, and that access to data is a huge advantage for xAI.
It gives them a real leg up on the competition.
Musk has even said that it gives them a competitive edge over rivals like OpenAI.
Which is interesting considering that he co-founded OpenAI.
Right, there's a lot of history there.
And some legal battles, as we discussed earlier.
So where does all this leave Grok and xAI's place in the AI world?
Yeah, what's next for them?
Well, it's clear that they're aiming to be a major force in the industry.
They're not holding back.
No, they're not. They have the funding, the talent, and the vision to make a significant impact.
But they also face tough competition from those established players like OpenAI and Anthropic.
Right, and let's not forget all the startups that are popping up.
Yeah, the AI field is getting pretty crowded.
It is, and they'll need to carefully navigate those ethical challenges and potential controversies that come with developing these powerful AI technologies.
Especially given Musk's sometimes unconventional approach.
It's a high-stakes game, and the outcome is far from certain.
But one thing's for sure, xAI is shaking things up.
They're pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI.
It's going to be fascinating to see how their journey unfolds.
It is. What are your thoughts on all of this? And it all comes back to that massive data center they built in Memphis.
Oh yeah, that thing is a beast.
It really is. It's a testament to the resources and commitment required for training these large-scale AI models.
It's kind of mind-blowing that they built that entire facility in just 122 days.
122 days? That's insane.
And it's already packed with 100,000 NVIDIA GPUs.
The workhorses of AI training?
Exactly. And they're planning to double that capacity soon.
Double it. Wow.
xAI is not messing around.
They're going all in.
They're aiming to leapfrog the competition.
But building and running a data center of that size takes a lot of energy.
That's true. Where are they getting all that power from?
To meet their power needs, they had to secure an additional 150 megawatts of electricity from the local power grid.
150 megawatts. That's enough to power a small city.
It is about 100,000 homes worth of power.
I bet that wasn't cheap.
Well, they did have to make some concessions to get that power allocation. They've committed to improving Memphis's drinking water and providing discounted Tesla batteries to the local grid.
So they're giving back to the community in exchange for that power.
Exactly. It's a mutually beneficial arrangement.
They get the power they need, and the community gets some pretty significant infrastructure upgrades.
It's a win-win situation.
And it could be a model for future large-scale AI development projects.
I think you're right. It's a good example of how to do things responsibly.
Yeah, it's not just about the technology itself.
It's about considering the impact on the community.
Absolutely. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have xAI's rapid rise, Grok's unique capabilities.
The legal battles with OpenAI, their bold vision for the future.
What are your key takeaways from all of this?
Well, for me, the biggest takeaway is that xAI is a force to be reckoned with.
I agree, they're shaking things up.
They're pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI.
And it's going to be fascinating to see how it all unfolds.
Absolutely. And with that, we come to the end of our deep dive into xAI.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next time.